What's happening, people? It's your boy Ashley. Right, so today's video I'm going to talk about why do school not teach you about money? Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so I think this has always been a massive question on my mind. Being retrospective now, is why don't schools teach you about money? Like, surely that's the most important thing you should know when you're growing up to become a young adult. And the reason why school don't teach you about money, because the government have an agenda where they want you to be employees rather than employers. They want you to pay the highest tax thresholds. They want you to contribute to society as much as you can. And yeah, the school just don't teach you about how to be your own boss. They don't teach you about tax avoidance, which obviously is not illegal. That tax avoidance means expenses, dividends, profit and loss, that sort of stuff. Just very important stuff that you should know. You should know as you're growing up to school, but they don't teach you that because the government and the state, they want you to be a preach of society, and they want you paying the high tax thresholds. They want you to be an employee for 40-50 years and then have a state pension. They don't ever preach about being an entrepreneur. They don't ever preach about being your own boss because they're not interested in trying to propaganda that during school. They're not interested because they know if you're your own boss or if you're your entrepreneur, there are ways to pay less tax than most people, and you can earn a higher income through asset building as well. But I just think the whole school society, the whole fundamentals needs to be, the agenda needs to change. Like learning about money should be, a forefront of the education system. And in my opinion, like it's very important for children to be learning about money during school. And they don't teach you about mortgages and stuff like that. But I think that's for another day, for another video. But yeah, like they should be teaching you about how money works. How tax works. How your accountancy works, how profit and loss works, how if you start a limited business, how dividends works. They don't teach you that. All school teach you is when you leave school, get a degree, get a job, work there for 30 years and get a pension. No. Enough of that bullshit. Okay? I have lots of friends who've gone to uni and most of them are broke. Okay? Most of them are broke. The richest people I know are people who are entrepreneurs, the people who are starting businesses by themselves from the ground up. Those are the wealthiest people I know. People who have degrees, don't get me wrong, very intelligent people, but they're just, they're not being wealthy. They're paying loads of, they're getting high salaries, but they're paying such high tax. It's just a never-ending vicious circle. You need to be building assets. You need to be building a strong money column behind you. Real estate, property. Stuff which gets you regular cash flow. The problem is that you may have heard the expression, keeping up with the Joneses, is where you want the nicer car, you want the nicer house, you want the nicer clothes. That's great, but that's not going to make you wealthy. It's just an image, which is just a short-term gain. School needs to fundamentally teach about money, about how money works, how to be financially intelligent, how to be financially literate. School needs to teach us about how tax works. I think a good fundamental to teach your kids is, have a savings account, and then every time you get paid, you put a third in a savings account. Even that would be a good sort of mission to teach kids how money works, because school does not teach about how money works, but they do it on purpose. So when you leave school, you think that you need to go to university to get the better job, but that is not the case. I've not had one job where I was in the military, so they did ask for certain qualifications, but apart from the military, I've not had one job where they've said, right, what have you what grades have you had, or what qualifications do you have? They're not interested. Employers just want to employ the person. They want to know that you can do the job, and fundamentally that's it. So, but to be successful, to be wealthy, you need to understand money. You need to understand how cash flow works. You need to understand about how building an asset column is very important for long-term gain. You shouldn't be focused on your pension. Pension is not gonna. Pensions are there just as a safety net, but it's not gonna make you. You're not gonna have a nice life living off a pension. A pension's like basic. That's just gonna get you by. Like when you retire, you want to be able to be comfortable. And this whole word retiring, I can't stand the word retiring. Retiring is just a false concept, which is the government push for the common person. You should retire when you want to retire. Okay, you should be having assets and a high cash flow, and then you can retire whenever you want. Not when you're 65, 70. No. But yeah, fundamentally, the school system needs to change. We need to have. I think it should be called money management. Money management should be the subject name, and that should be in the curriculum in every school in the country. They should be teaching you about how taxes work. They should be teaching you about profit and loss columns. They should be teaching you about liabilities. They should be teaching you about assets and dividends. The list goes on. There's so much to talk about, and the government and the school push the agenda where they want you to be an employee of the state. But being an employee, okay, great. Okay, you might think, oh yeah, well, it's safe, there's no risk involved. But if your mindset's going to be like that the rest of your life, you're never going to achieve. You need to believe to achieve. And the only way to be successful and to be wealthy is to take those risks. But you can take calculated risks. You can take risks that are going to make sense to you. Your money should be invested, not wasted on high agenda expenses like cars, like getting a nicer car every year, getting a nicer house. Okay, that's all well and good, but you should learn how to look after your money first and have a good understanding of of your money and your finances. But yeah, I hope you thought this video was interesting. I could talk about this all day. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and if you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up and share it or whatever. Thanks, peace out, bye.